it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I'm doing a bit of a celebration, get it before you can't series, and this is one of those. This uses the Lots of Lavender stamp set. Now, am I the only one that missed the roses? I don't think I am. There is this lovely lavender image, and it's two-step stamping made easy because it's literally you stamp and you line it up very approximately and you're good to go. But I think that side, that bit, has been kind of ignored by most of us, so I'm going to embrace it today. So I am using a slightly strange, not strange, but a slightly different colour scheme. So I've got rose red and garden green, and I've matted everything onto a black card base. So I'm starting with my standard second size mat. All the measurements will be on the blog post, which is linked immediately below, so don't worry about writing anything down because I'm not going to tell you the dimensions anyway, because that just takes time, and there's quite a lot of stamping to do. So I've got this deliberately on a big block because I find when I'm doing this particular style of stamping it's a bit easier. So I've got the outline of the rose on my big block, and I'm just going to make sure that's well inked up. I have a horrible feeling that my memento needs re-inking, but that's fine. I have re-inkers. Can you see? Yes, more or less. So all I'm going to do is stamp in the corners first. And do both of the corners? How can I do it? Both ends is probably what I was thinking. So both of the ends. And then I'm coming back in to fill in that gap that we've made by stamping at the ends, and then at the other end. So have you enjoyed Celebration? I have had a blast. I can't believe that we are in the last few days. That's not to say that there isn't still time to place orders, because there is. What I would say is that on Good Friday, and which is the 30th of March, and Easter Saturday, the Stampin' Up office, certainly in Europe, will be closed. They're always closed on a Saturday, but the office is closed on Good Friday as well. So if you have any problems placing an order on either of those 2 days, there's not a huge amount that anyone's going to be able to do to help you. Obviously I will do everything that I can, but I can't guarantee that I will be able to resolve any issues. So my recommendation would be, don't hang about, get it sorted out now. Right. So that's the outlines. I've got this interesting little splodge that is the rose infill. And of course the sun, what there was, is now beginning to go in. So I'm hoping, let's have a look, it's not the best lighting in the world, but it's not too bad. It's probably better than me flooding the place with lights at this stage. Right, so all you do is ink up, and it doesn't actually fit. So just bear that in mind and accept that it's not going to fit. Just go for it. I've tried it in all sorts of directions and it doesn't completely fill the space. It's like the lavender stamp, so that's why I say it's a really easy, it's a great way to start two-step stamping, because you actually can't get it wrong. Because if you don't line it up perfectly, it doesn't matter, because you can't line it up perfectly. Right, I'm just going to clean that stamp off because I need the block again. So, I need the stamp set again, that's always a good start. Now there are 2 sets of leaves, because they do go in opposite directions. I will need that again, but I'll do the leaves first. I just find it easier to do the leaves first. So if you have a look here, there's one that goes that way and one that goes that way, and there's a big gap and a big gap. And that's really the only way of working out which way it is. So the big gap is at the top. And then all you do, I just line up the top and the end and just go for it. Can you see? I am just about in camera. I'm still not quite up to speed with my new positioning. I may have to move it back. I like my new tripod. That isn't a tripod, it should be a unipod, I suppose, because it's only got one leg. Because it does mean that I'm not as likely to have... Ooh! That's better. I'm not as likely to have flying cameras. And I have to say, after the flying camera episode a few weeks back, which I know you didn't see, you just heard about, because the language really was quite frightening, and the camera stopped anyway, so hey, you were never going to see it. But after that, I've been toying with getting this particular stand for some weeks. It kind of confirmed in my mind that it was a good idea. Didn't need much confirming, but it did confirm that it was a good idea. Right, so this is the other stamp. So, just in case you have been living at the North Pole for the last 2.5 months, nearly 3 months, Celebration is when Stampin' Up give you and me free stuff. Now, there are various ways of getting free stuff. You can shop. So for every £45 you spend before postage and packing, you can get a free item from the Celebration offerings. There are 2 lots of Celebration offerings that are exclusively Celebration. And there are also now some items from the catalogues that are added to the Celebration offering, including if you spend £90, you can get some full price dies, which is amazing, because they are some of the really nice dies. So it's the Petal Palette die set and the Cake Soiree, or the ones that go with those. Can't remember if that's the actual name, but right. So I've got 2 dots here. One is slightly larger than the other. It's marginal, and the top ones are slightly larger on the image, but again, you know, it's a rough approximation of something approaching where they need to be that we're looking for. So yes, so that's one way. Spend money, get free stuff. Spend lots of money. So if you spend £200 or more, you get an extra £20 of stamping rewards. So if you were to spend £200, and obviously that could be you and your chums getting together, or we could do a party, or we could do an online party. I've got a few dates still available for online parties. So that means you can do it in your pyjamas. It means I can do it in my pyjamas as well. Yay! So if you put together a £200 or more order, in addition to your normal, hostess rewards, which at £200 would be £20, because you get 10%. So instead of getting £20, you would get 40, because at £200, any amount over and above that you spend, Stampin' Up will add £20 onto your rewards. So if you were to spend £400, you'd still only get the extra 200. It doesn't go up to, sorry, the extra 20. It doesn't go up to 40 or anything like that. It's just at that point, it goes up by an additional £20. Right, that's all of the stamping done. So let's get rid of the ink pads. So that's shopping. That's shopping. They call that one host because they expect that to be for someone who hosts a party. So that's host. The other option is to join, and that's the usual deal of 100 and I'm looking for, I've lost all my bits. Oh, there they are. The usual deal of 150 £130 of product for £99, including postage and packing, and you also get a starter kit for your business. If you wanted to run it as a business, you don't have to. So the usual deal, £130 worth of product of your choice, £99, free shipping, includes lots of catalogues and order forms and stuff. But during celebrations, so until the end of the month, you also get 2 full price stamp sets from either the annual or the spring summer catalogues. So that can add an extra, I want to say it's over £70. So you could end up with more than £200 of product for £99. And obviously I would love you to join my team. So that would be great. And it also means this is an A4 sheet cut in half, scored down the middle to make an A6 card base. The other bonus that you get by becoming a demonstrator, and you don't have to sell, let's just get that sorted. There is no selling required. But you get to, sorry, I'm just going to attach this with Snail. You get an extra 20% off all your purchases whilst you stay active. I say an extra, you get 20% off your purchases whilst you stay active. What's not to love about that? And if you don't meet the very achievable, and they're quarterly minimums, not monthly, so it's quite a good way of doing it. So if you don't achieve your quarterly minimums, then all that happens is you get to keep everything and just become a customer again. Right, I have used, not those, I have used the Lovely Words Thinlet dies. They come in oval, heart and circle, and it's Friend, Lovely, Hugs. And these work with our nesting circle, heart and oval dies. And I've cut, having already stuck multi-purpose sheet on the back of the card, I've cut in rose red and black the word friend, and all I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to stick that to that first, it's easier to do it in that direction. All I'm going to do is just peel the backing off, because it just becomes a sticker, which is so much easier than having to fiddle around with liquid glue. Either the multi-purpose or the fine tip glue pen would work really well with this, but it's just so much easier to just do that. And then you've got this lovely sticker, and then all you do is get rid of your loop for friend first. There we go. Don't want that there. Get rid of that, and then just shadow it. So just slightly offset the top die so that the bottom die becomes a shadow. And then trim the end. So obviously I've taken the word out of the oval. I say obviously, it possibly isn't obvious. And then I'm just going to trim the ends of the first and last letter so that I've got this word. And again, just take the backing off the bottom layer. Just be careful when you do that you don't tear the word, because you have got some fairly fine bits of card to deal with. And then just pop that in the middle of your card. And then I like to turn it over and give it a good press from behind. And then grabbing some of my multi-purpose adhesive, and this is the liquid, and I don't use a huge amount, just so long as it's well covered. I mean, I'll probably use more than I need to, and that's not much. And then just make sure you've got your card the right way up, and pop your mats onto your card base. And the joy with the multi-purpose adhesive is that although it sticks incredibly well, it does give you a little bit of wiggle room. So there you are. So this is on a rose red mat, this is on a garden green mat, because those are the two colours that we have used. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me just remind you of the stamp set. So this is free with a £45 order, and for every £45 you spend, you get a free item, unless you want to bulk them together and get spend £90 to get some of the higher level items, because there are some level 2 items, including some dies and an embossing folder, which will be in the annual catalogue, but you'll have to spend additional money on them to get those. So if they're ones you want, why not get them now when they're free? But there's ribbon, there's paper, there's the glimmer paper from Myths and Magic is in there, the birthday paper from the annual catalogue, all sorts of bits and pieces are now available to get free. And if you spend £90 on one order, so you only pay 1 postage, you can get 2 level 1 or 1 level 2 item. So for every £45 you get an extra item. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you need any of the products, please, 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 if you would shop with me, that would be great if you're in the UK. If you're thinking of joining Stampin' Up again, if you would like to join my team, that would be amazing. And if there's any queries or questions you've got wherever you are in the world, please add a comment either below or in any of my social media. There's a link to my social media sites in the description bar below. I always reply to comments. I may take a few days, but I always reply to comments. So please do ask any questions and I will be happy to help. If you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. That would be lovely. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to sign up to my newsletter, hop over to the web version of my website. And there's a form at the bottom of every blog post to do that. Or alternatively on my Facebook business page, there's a sign up button which you can do, and that will sign you up to my newsletter as well. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.